Albania is one of the cheapest countries in Europe, but is it possible to live here on 1,000 euros a month? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what you can expect to pay for everyday expenses and whether or not you're actually going to be able to move to Albania and live here on that budget. Okay, let's start off with rent, because that's going to be your biggest expense. Depending on which city you choose to live in, you can get a place to rent for between 300 and 500 euros a month for a one-bedroom. In the city of Tirana, it's going to be a bit more expensive depending on how close you are to the center. So which cities can you actually move to be able to pay between 300 and 400 euros a month for rent? Well, places like Durrës, which are closer to the seaside, and also the south as well, like Vlora, you're going to be able to find apartments for between $300 and $400 a month, and usually those are going to be like one bedrooms. You can probably find a two-bedroom apartment for those prices as well, but that's going to be a bit more rare. Probably it's going to be an old building without kind of like modern interior, so depends on your preferences. Like if you just want to save as much money as possible, then it is definitely possible to find a place for like 300-400 euros a month. If your preferences are more modern interior or a new building and that kind of stuff, then 400 to 500 euros a month is more of a realistic budget for a nice place. In Tirana, 400 to 500 euros a month gets you a one-bedroom, sometimes close to the center, maybe like a 20-minute walk away at most. If you want something that's really central and really like well furnished and all that kind of stuff, and two bedrooms, then it can go up to like 600, 700, 800 euros per month. For me, I'm paying 850 euros a month, but that's for a two-bedroom apartment in the city center of Albania, right next to Skanderberg Square, which is pretty much as central as you can get. It's literally the best area to be in. If you want like to be involved in everything that's going on in the city, you want to have access to everything around the city, then for me, living city center is really just a preference. Obviously, if you wanted somewhere a bit further out, then it would be much less. But as you can see, this is literally my playground, you know. It's like this square is the biggest monument in the entire city, and it's literally less than 5-minute walk away from where I live. Next up are going to be your groceries expenses. Now, depending on how much you eat, obviously, and what kind of food you cook, that's going to vary. For me personally, I'm spending 300 euros per month for groceries in Albania. But the thing is, I eat like 5 kilograms of chicken every week and like 2.5 kilograms of meat, mishi grier. So it's a little bit more pricey. But obviously, if you eat less protein, then you're going to be paying way less, maybe like 150, 200 euros per month. So let's say you've got an apartment now for 400 euros a month, which is very reasonable. And then if you're paying 200 euros a month for groceries, that brings your total up to 600 euros per month. The next biggest expense is going to be things like electricity and water and internet. So how much do I pay? I pay around between 60 and 100 euros a month for my electricity and water. And then my internet is around 15 euros per month. So a maximum of around 115 euros a month. Depending on the type of place you're staying in, it might be less. I'm also paying a 20 euro a month administration fee for my building. So bills you can expect to pay anywhere from 50 to 100 euros a month, including internet. And a SIM card in Albania is typically going to cost between 10 and 15 euros per month. So that's not too much of a big expense. So in total, with all bills, you're looking to pay between 100 and 120 euros per month on the high end. So that brings our total up to around 720 euros so far. You're gonna have some basic other expenses as well for stuff like toiletries and all that kind of stuff. So maybe like between another 50 and 100 euros a month for that kind of stuff. So let's say 80 euros for that. So that brings the total to 800 euros. Okay, so a gym in Albania is gonna cost anywhere from around 40 to 100 euros per month. If you pay yearly, it's usually a lot cheaper. It's on the lower end. So that brings the total cost right now to around 850 euros. Okay, so that's pretty much like all the expenses, and as you can see, that's under 1,000 euros, which means that if you wanted to, you could get a nicer place, or you could spend a little bit more on groceries. But yeah, in total, like, you can live here very realistically on 1,000 euros per month. Obviously, the higher your budget is, the more flexibility you're going to have and the better lifestyle you're going to live. I personally pay like 1,750 for everything, but I can obviously reduce that significantly if I wanted to. But overall, I think that gives you an idea of how much it actually costs to live here. Okay, so what do I spend 1,750 euros a month on in Albania? So it's quite simple. I pay 850 euros a month for my rent, and then my groceries are usually around 300 euros per month. And then after that, I've got my gym membership, which is 100 a year. Or not 100 a year, it's 100 a month. What am I talking about? And eventually, when I get my residence, I am going to start paying yearly for this. So it's going to massively reduce the cost. And then haircuts, I pay around 60 euros per month. My bills, as mentioned, are between like 60 and 100 euros per month. This month it was 100 euros. For internet, it's 15 euros a month. For my SIM card, it's 15 euros a month. And then my other expenses are things like toiletries, and once in a while, that's like another 115 euros a month. And yeah, that's pretty much all of it. And that's how much I'm spending living in Albania. Obviously, I could make it much less, but that being said, I do want to live a good life here, so that helps me obviously budget enough for that. So overall, I think compared to the UK, if I was living the same lifestyle, living in the center and all that kind of stuff, I'd be spending at least like 4 or 5k a month for the same exact lifestyle. So for me personally, I feel like I'm saving a lot of money, and for me, living here is a very, very good switch from living in the UK. And overall, I'll be staying here as long as they don't change the tax laws for digital nomads, and yeah, being here for the next like 5 years or so. And yeah, I need 2 bedrooms because I use one of them as an office. Obviously, if I had a 1-bedroom place, then I'd be spending more like 500 euros per month, maybe 600. So I'd be saving at least 250, 350 per month. So my living expenses in total would actually be less than 1,500 euros per month, which for me, I don't know about you guys, but that is very, very reasonable, and overall much cheaper than the kind of lifestyle that I'd be living in the UK for what I'm getting here. So that's the end of this video. If you have any questions about any other costs associated with moving to Albania, then feel free to ask them in the comment section below, and I will answer them as best as I can. If you want to see more videos of my travels around the world and me living in Albania, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. I'll see you on the next one.